Hi, my name is Grace, and this is my second year at Senior All-Star at Pivot, and I'll be reading How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Suess.
Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever was the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming, I must find a way to stop Christmas coming. For tomorrow he knew all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they feast, and they feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand at the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. They'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of the Who's singing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with this now. I must stop the Christmas from coming, but then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and chuckled, what a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I look like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, and he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head.
Welcome back, so we're going to continue reading The Grinch. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. But did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called for his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags in some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up!" And the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, "This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof and two bags in his fist. Then he slid down a chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out to the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slumped with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took very pleasant pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slumped to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beef. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why that Grinch ever took their last can of Woo hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff it up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by his tiny who. Daughter got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But, the Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought of a why, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot? Little fake Santa Claus lie. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there. Then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink and sent her right to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log of the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, that old liar. On their walls he left nothing but books and some wire. And the one sack of food that he left in the box was a crumb that wasn't even small enough for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's house, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. All the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze. When he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trumpets. The 3,000 feet up the slide of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tippy top to dump it. Woo woo, to the Who's, he was Grinch's humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. They know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two. Then the Who's down and Whoville will cry a boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I must simply hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why this sounded so merry, it couldn't be so. But it was merry. Very. He started down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. bags. And he puzzled 3 hours, till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 times that day, and the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight. With his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he himself, Grinch, carved the roast. Alright everyone, that's all we have for today. Thank you for joining me, and come back for another book.
You're a mean one. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel. Mr. Grinch, you're a bad banana.
Mr. Grinch,
With the greasy black peel. You're a vile one. You got termites in your smile. You have fallen to the sweetness of a seasick crocodile. Mr. Grinch,
you're a flower. Friends you don't have no.
I wouldn't touch you with a 39 and a half foot pole. You're a monster. Your heart's an empty hole.
You got garlic in your soul.
You got garlic in your soul. All them smiles, homie, I turn up, frown. All them decorations, I tear 'em down. You can ask Max, I don't play around. Ayo. Who is this mean fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow? What you so mad for? Halloween come around and we ain't knocking at your door, man.
Mr. Grinch, you're a bad banana. You spoil everybody with your bad.
Spoil everybody.
Mr. Grinch,
Who is this mean fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow? What you so mad for? Halloween come around and we ain't knocking at your door.